All right, welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kermit, Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we are going to talk about Ahsoka, the finale of season one. Um, man, I know I still feel weird about it. And I saw it twice
I've
already.
seen it now 3 times.
Yeah,
Seen
And
it
I
twice.
listened to it while I was driving. I was just driving around just listening to it like, "Huh, okay."
yeah, yeah. So, with that being said, Brandman, initial thoughts, how you feel about it?
I thought it was fine. I liked how it hit the ground running, and um, I liked that there was a lot going on during it.
Mhm.
Um, I liked a lot of the character back and forth. That was pretty fun to watch. It left me wanting more in some way, shape, or form. I think there's more that they can do with it. So,
Yeah.
definitely one of the finales of the Star Wars Disney Plus series that I was a little more pleased with.
Okay. Hmm.
Mhm.
Cool.
Ah.
Yeah.
What are you, Brian?
My
Initial thoughts.
initial thoughts were it was interesting. It was an interesting thing. It had a lot of things that were going on. I like the things that they are doing, but the problem that I saw, in episode 7 happened, or it's episode 6. I was like, you're opening too many storylines and you can't close any of these things out. It didn't feel like a finale because nothing closed, nothing ended. It left everything very open ended. Like,
That is
only thing
true.
we got different was Ezra got home. Everything else
Mhm.
was just open ended, and it's hard for it to be a season 1 finale when you didn't have all that stuff. So, it was interesting.
Mhm.
I didn't hate it, but I don't think it was one of the best ones I've ever seen either.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, same. It just it, the more I thought, the more it reminded me of like something like Lost. I was like, I have more questions at the end of season one than I did at the beginning of season one. And I feel like that's never a good, it's never a fun feeling to have at the end of the season because you're supposed to have some kind of accomplishment or some kind of like satisfaction at the end of the season. And I did love a lot of things that they did. I don't know if
Mhm.
satisfied with the way it ended. But I am excited for what is going to come,
Oh,
which
it
are
opened up the world. If
it,
you're complaining about the world being too
yeah,
only focused on one family, this fixed that totally.
yeah. If your problem is like, why is everything always happening on Coruscant? Well, we're far away from that now, and it's like, why does everything have to happen with Skywalkers? Again, we're very far away from that, and stuff like that. But I didn't feel fully satisfied with the season at the end.
Mhm.
But I am excited to see where the rest of the story goes because it kind of feels like a half a season. Like I would be okay if they come out and say, hey, this is only the first half of season one. The second half of season one is going to come out later. I know they can't do that because it's going to be such a large gap. So it's not a mid-season kind of break, but that's what it
It's
kind
not
of
Attack
feels
on
like.
Titan.
It's not Tech Outside. But yeah, you can take one season and spread it out for 5 years. Um,
I just felt
man,
like specifically they should have closed at least one of the doors. Did
okay,
something to have some type of closure to something.
yeah,
There was no closure there. Even though I
cool.
liked a lot of stuff they did. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So is a good transition. Putin's cat said it was fine. Sabine was a bit overpowered. Yeah. So
We're gonna
we are
talk
going to
about
get
things
into
we don't like.
spoilers. We are going to get into a lot of spoilers and stuff like that. So I'm gonna see if any of you bring this up. But also, Putin's cat said Ezra got closure. When that
Did
comes
he?
up, I don't know if he did.
No, because he's going right back.
I mean, he got more information about his master, which
Yeah,
is
I
awesome.
love that. Oh, that lightsaber building, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
that was super awesome. Yeah. But yeah, we are going to get into spoilers and everything. So if you haven't seen the episode yet,
Time to
pause,
bow out.
come back, and then let us know what you think. But Brandon, what are some good things you liked about this finale? Like good
Oh,
parts.
I liked the dogfight battle at the beginning. That was pretty good. The lightsaber battle with like the zombified stormtroopers, I thought that was pretty fun. um, the one-on-one duels were really good. And
Even the group duels were good.
yeah, I liked I thought the final shot was pretty decent. The one that I'm talking about. That was pretty cool. I liked what the show did with Anakin as a whole.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, I'd say those were my most memorable.
Yeah. I told you Diane Lee practiced a lot, which is Morgan's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to get into
Yeah.
that.
All right. What about you, Brian? What are some parts that you liked about the show or the episode?
I thought it was really well done overall. What's it? My favorite part probably was seeing Ahsoka and Sabine, how their relationship had developed, seeing how Ezra has developed, and seeing Huyang building the lightsaber. I thought that was really cool. I
Mhm.
thought Thrawn was better because I was arguing all last week, like the entire time. Thrawn should be blowing up the stuff. He should be putting his foot down, blowing up the ship. And you know what Thrawn said as soon as he came on? He's like, "Hey, let's go blow up that ship." It was like he was listening to me. He was like, "Yeah, let's go do this right now." No, he was like, "That's almost impossible for them to get here. So let's go get ready for them to get here." I thought that was really cool. That Thrawn was more Thrawn to me in this episode than he was in other previous episodes. In the seventh one, the sixth one, I didn't think that he was very Thrawn in those.
Yeah.
He planned out a little bit better. He knew what was going on. He knew how they were going to do their thing a little bit more, and I thought that was cool.
He was more himself.
Exactly. It made more sense, and I looked forward to having him now. Going forward. I thought, especially if you don't know who he was, now you know more. I thought the scenery was great. What I saw with Baylan was awesome. But that's also part of the stuff I hated because I saw with Baylan. But we'll get to that later. I thought the zombies were awesome. Was so very cool. I loved Ahsoka just fighting through everything. I love what Sabine was doing until she showed. Yeah, we'll get to that later. But the things they did, I enjoyed what they did. I thought the timing was a little bit off, but I enjoyed what they were doing. If this was episode 7 or 6, if this is the penultimate episode, I would be very happy. Because it's the finale, I think we missed a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Boone's cat said, everyone that came for Thrawn didn't leave except for the damn robot. And he stole their ride. Yeah. So, pretty much. Oh man.
Wait, what's your initial thoughts though?
I liked it a lot. I had fun with it. It wasn't perfect. I thought the fighting scenes were really fun. Were really good, well choreographed, which I expect nothing else from Diana Lee. I think so.
I thought it was a little sloppy.
Scene, really?
Yeah, I thought they because I mean this might be be going on with Anzo and doing the round table talking about it. It wasn't very fast. It wasn't as good as the prequel. The prequels. Ahsoka is obviously very good at what she's doing. But even so, Ezra and Sabine, I thought were very sloppy, and even with Diane Lee, I thought it could have been better. It seemed like one was really good. She was very powerful, but I didn't think that it wasn't crisp. It wasn't like watching Darth Maul, go against Obi-Wan. Like it wasn't that. Qui-Gon Jinn. I think those type of things you really want. I'm not a huge prequels fan, but I think I have to agree with Danny that they have better lightsaber battles.
100%.
And I thought that you really need to do that, especially with smaller people that are supposed to be more skillful, that have these powerful weapons. I would like that could be a lot faster, a lot more crisp, very on target, and it wasn't very on target. I felt like it was a little bit sloppy overall.
I don't know. I don't mind it. Also, it's hard to compare. It's hard to compare a TV show with a movie where Hugh McGregor and Christian Hedison spent months and months and months. I mean, there's even a clip of George Lucas talking about that final scene where they do the saber fight, and he goes, "They were going so fast that I had to tell them slow it down because that's how well and choreographed they had trained." But you can't really do that in a TV show because you have to like, hey, we can't spend that much time on this. Like we gotta.
That's the greatest lightsaber battle of all time. I'm just talking about like episode 1, Darth Maul's Qui-Gon Jinn, which was a lot slower, but it was very crisp.
Yeah,
every movement was very on it. So I just
I don't know. I didn't mind it. I thought I liked it because like she was kind of like juiced up, so she was like roid rage with a badass sword, and she had a sword, her, which called back to the Clone Wars, which is awesome.
Yeah, that sword was something that can block lightsabers, and it was something. If you really looked it up, it's a very cool sword.
Yeah, I think that sword fought because I wind up looking it up after we talked about it.
What's his name? Mace Windu.
Mace Windu. Yeah. So, but I enjoyed it. I thought that last saber fight was good. I do have a problem with it, but it wasn't the actual fighting itself. I enjoyed it. I don't expect like crazy choreographed kind of stuff, but I thought it was pretty good for what we got, because there was still a bunch of other stuff going on too with it. But the zombies were awesome, but I think we all knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Nothing surprised me though. That's the one thing I would say. Nothing surprised me. I did, but I wasn't really like thrown off. With like say season 2 of Mandalorian, you're like, oh my god. With this one is like, oh yeah, that happened. I knew that was happening. I knew that was gonna happen. So yeah. So that even the whole Baylan thing at the end, I kind of knew something was gonna happen. I mean, they really didn't tell us, but they gave us a very, very good hint, where it could go.
But that was very cool, even seeing that scene, because you see the father pointing, so he's pointing at something, right? And then you see the son, the brother, whatever, he's totally there, but he's right there. And then the daughter, whose head is cut off, is not there, and that symbolism was very cool. And then what are they pointing at? Is it the mother? It's so many cool things that they did with that scene, but it was very quick, and that's all we got. Baylan.
Yeah, even like I studied and watched other people talk about it, and that one scene, that one shot was super cool and a lot of stuff. Because the brother looked younger. He didn't look how he looked in some of the paintings. He looked a little bit smaller. I was like, oh, so that's all be pretty interesting.
That's why you thought that maybe this is the planet that they probably were on.
Oh, originally from
originally. Yeah.
So we're gonna get a bunch of old shit in there. Who's pointing at the Kurt burger? Let me know when it's time to get into that.
Hey, Kurt burger is out right now, so yeah. Want me to send you one in the mail? Want me to mail you one?
Was if send it to me, I can flash freeze it and then we can ship it.
Ship it to L. That's the only way she's gonna end up getting it.
and then you just defrost it and cook it.
Just fry it. 360 degrees.
Burger.
Ship 3, please.
Ship 3, please. Because that's just for me. That ain't even for the kids and the husband. That's just for me.
That's probably for her and the kids. Her husband's probably not gonna get one. So they messed up. That's how my family works.
Yeah.
I don't get one.
You don't get one. You get to watch them. That's
exactly
your enjoyment.
You get to see the smile on my face.
Yeah. Here you go. So Putin's Cat said, anytime we have a big battle on Disney Plus, something is off. Mando 3 and the finale with all the stormtroopers, the smaller fights are better. That is interesting. But I think it's because of that, because you can't spend as much time on a TV show as you can a movie. And especially like you said, it's hard to compare that. But
it's hard, but when it's so epic, and we're talking about this could save Star Wars for what it was. It literally is the one show, because honestly, I gotta say 4, 5, and 6 are still the greatest things I've seen in Star Wars in 25 years, 30 years. Like greatest thing.
I don't know. I like Rogue One a lot too, though.
I like Rogue One.
Yeah.
I could like what Rogue One is fine. I still say 4, 5, 6 is better.
Yeah.
Like literally, I'm saying, it's fine, but it's like the best thing you've gotten in a long, long time.
Yeah.
As far as Star Wars feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't that kind of take a lot of stuff off of 7 and 8 though, because 7 and 8 was less, intense and not as great as the other ones. So that kind of just, I don't know, made it feel smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminded you that we were watching a TV show and not a movie, which you forget that sometimes because, you forget how you remember how epic Star Wars is. And then you're like, oh, wait, but we're in a smaller version of it. We're on a TV show, so you got to compare it more to, the Clone Wars cartoon, to Rebels cartoon, more like that, especially with Filoni in charge. That's the direct comparisons that you can do for me. So, but yeah, he said episode 7 was okay.
Yeah, 7 and 8 were both okay.
Yeah. All right. So, Brandon, what didn't you like about the last episode?
I think how do I word this? You could tell the writers felt the pressure on to just wrap everything up as quickly as possible, and just like the ending, the last couple minutes felt really jam packed, and it almost felt like they were indecisive if they want to make another season, if this is going to bridge off into a movie, if it's going to be a one off, and I think it kind of showed. I think that I'm kind of wondering if all the open, like some of the loose ends they left, if any of it's going to pay off down the line. I guess we have to wait and see. It just
I don't think we gotta wait that long, honestly.
Hopefully, I hope
it just
the Acolyte's gonna be right with this stuff.
This is my turn.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention when we were talking anyway.
It just felt like, they don't know, and it showed. But I'd say that was my big thing. It just it just kind of felt that it just felt really obligated to go big.
Yeah. Well, like Boomcat said that, like, no one at Lucasfilm can tell them what's next.
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't know who's gonna run it.
Exactly, kind of what you're saying. Like, what happens next? And they all look at each other. Oh,
who's the leader? And everyone's like,
and Filoni's in the back, like, raising his hand, like no one's picking him.
Anybody else? Anyone?
He's like banging on the desk, like, pick me. But yeah.
So I'd say that was my hang up with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? I'll save that question. Never mind. I'll save it for when we talk about the whole season. Okay. If you got anything else, let us know. Brian, what didn't you like?
I thought the lightsaber battle was a little sloppy. I thought it could have been more crisp. I would love to get a little bit of Shin. Except just that one thing. Oh, we know where she's going, but could give me a little bit more closure with that idea of what's going on. The same thing when I say about baylan. A little bit more of that. I would appreciate it. Nothing. I mean, I hated what Sabine. So she went from not being able to use the Force to be able to call and pull her lightsaber out to being able to force push a human being across this crevice that I'm like, what the hell? Like, you did this all in 7 minutes. That's crazy. Like, it was the jumps were, it's like, it made sense in your head, but maybe you didn't think about how that was going to work in real life. And I feel like that's what we were getting from Filoni. A lot of that was just like, in my head, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to hurry up and do it. But it didn't make sense. But even though they foreshadowed it, no one liked the idea of Sabine being able to use the Force and then being a master of the Force immediately. You couldn't do nothing. How? Because you're just more emotional then, and then all of a sudden you knew where their emotion came from. It didn't make sense. I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mhm.
I mean, well, that's part of the flow that I feel like. I felt like the show, the last episode didn't flow as well as the previous episodes did. I feel like he was, some things were fast, some things were slow, some things were like, I have to get this idea out, so I'm going to throw it out there real quick. It was just so much that was just kind of missing. So that, I think those are my biggest gripes. I don't even care that, we don't know exactly what's going on with who was calling Bailey, even though that was talked about throughout the entire first season, and we still don't know. I could deal with that because I know what's coming in the movie. Because I think that's going to have a real big bad. But at least tell me something. Have some closure at something. And I don't think they closed anything. Everything was wide open still.
Mm-hmm.
The things that happened at the beginning are still there at the end, except they just flipped places.
Kind of. Yeah.
That's just it.
That.
So
yeah.
Those are my negatives. So what you got?
Okay. Kind of continue with the Baylan and Shin thing. Like if they would have kind of hung out until the very end, and they're like, if he would have like, and this is where we split. You have to go your story. I have to go do mine. Instead, they did it in the episode 7. They should have done it in 8, where he's like, I taught you everything I could teach. You need to learn the rest on your own. And he goes, I have to go to whatever's calling me, kind of thing. So I think that would have been more of a better ending for them too, instead of them doing it in the previous episode. And then also I guess they kind of did, because we don't see them at all in this episode until the last 2 minutes, and even then they don't say a word, So maybe, that's what kind of happened, just not in the last episode, even though that was the last thing that happened with them. I don't know. I was just upset with that a lot, where I was like, oh, these awesome characters, you don't even put them in the last episode,
Yep.
Like Shin, I don't know what's going on with Shin. She's the leader of these, like thug, guys now. She's like coming in like, I'm a badass. Y'all listen to me now. And he's doing his thing, which is super cool. But I was a little upset that we got none of that. I was also like upset that they didn't set up the Morgan and Ahsoka fight. It was happened. Like, boom, we're here, and now they fight. It was like they didn't even see each other since she got arrested. Since she beat her ass last time. That was the last time she saw her in Mandalorian season 2. So and now it's like, like I guess you still hold a grudge or whatever. But I was like, it happened, and for me, it was a cool fight. I like the fight, but it just felt off because it just happened. There wasn't no buildup. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the thing. Because the whole time you're like, she's gonna fight Baylan. She's gonna fight Baylan. Round 3. You know what I mean? Like, what are we gonna do? And that we never got that. Instead, we got her against Morgan, and as good as I liked it, it just felt off because of that. Like, it just didn't build up to it.
You didn't set that up in the season at all, and obviously you're just gonna go back to that.
Yeah. So that was kind of my issue with that fight. It wasn't the fight itself. It just happened. It was like, what? And then yeah, same thing with Sabine. The whole time I'm sitting with me and Eric are watching it, and you see it happening. She sees it, and I'm like, no. Erica looked at me. She goes, what? I'm like, she's gonna fucking grab it. And Erica's like, no. And then she grabbed it. I'm like,
told you,
man, why? And then Erica's like, oh, maybe it was really Ezra that pushed it to her, and like, let her think she got the power, kind of thing. I'm like, if they can explain that, I'll be cool with it. But instead, they double down with the stupid jump thing. I was like,
and let her be able to force push. I was like, oh, so
I was like,
you just learned.
You do it. I'm like, and it's not even like. With Rey, you can always explain, it's like, oh, well, it's in her genes type of bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, she's just that naturally strong in the Force. You can explain it with that stupid stuff as much as you want. With her, we were literally told she is the least worst person that Hugh Yang has ever seen with midichlorians, and he's been around for hundreds of years at this point.
1,500 years he's been around.
Yeah, and she's the worst. And then all of a sudden, like, she goes from like barely getting a lightsaber to her hands to
I can force push you across a crevice of 1,500 yards. Like, what? Ha.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? So, and I knew it was coming though. I knew they were gonna eventually give her force powers. The whole time I'm like, I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. And then in the back of my head, the whole time I'm like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it, and they did it, and it was really upsetting.
Yeah.
But Putin's cat, I guess he didn't like this. He goes, I need Morgan to live.
What I would have said, why didn't the Night Sisters, they could bring everyone else back to life? Why wouldn't they let Morgan come back to life?
Yeah.
Everyone else is walking zombie. The problem
Yeah.
is then Thrawn blew up the entire building, so it didn't matter.
Oh, that was kind of a good part though, because when he says blow up the temple and all the sisters like look at him like,
Yeah.
what the fuck you just said?
What?
It's like, and I'm like, we're off to a bumpy start already, It's like, you used up your magic and now you're like, oh, now we're in my galaxy.
Yeah. Hey, Thrawn was not playing no games though. He was like,
No.
every time I'm going after them. I'm blowing stuff up. Everything that I complained about last week, I take it all back. Thrawn was about that. He was about that life.
Yeah, but it should never got that point. That was my issue. Yeah. So real quick, and then some Putin's cat said on network TV, if the show works, that they continue. Yep. Brandon, did you finish it? Because I know he had like 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
He said, I feel like I should the cartoon to get some backstory because I am not sure our relationship with Ezra yet, and I get why Thrawn is important, but backstory to understand better would be nice. Definitely.
That's important.
Definitely. They don't tell you, because they can't tell you, but you 100% need to watch Rebels before you watch the show.
To enjoy it to the right way. Yeah.
To get the relationships, to get Thrawn, to get Ezra and Sabine and stuff like that. Because their relationship here seemed very like one-sided love, like she almost like loved him, and it was never like that in the show. It was always more of like a sibling thing, and they made it weird in the show. They pushed her too much with wanting him back at all costs, and she was never quite like that, until the show.
Well, he always looked at her as for this romantic thing. She always looked at him as a younger brother, like, oh yeah, whatever, a little whatever. And then towards the end, you start to see it coming a little bit more for her. But Ezra at that point was all about his stuff, what he was doing.
Yeah, he's taking care of his business.
Yeah.
But I said, gotta say the episode Thrawn goes nuts on a dude.
Yeah, see that one.
Sabine has no one else. Yeah, but does she know? Because
she obviously stayed with Ahsoka.
Well, now. But during all this stuff, we found out there was the whole battle on Mandalore, but they were already in a different galaxy. So all that stuff was going on. So, she might come back to her galaxy, and Mandalore might kind of be
a thriving place again.
Yeah. But like old school kind of style. We'll see. So she might have lost her immediate family, but I think she might still have her Mandalorian family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you ain't confirmed.
No, so her family died, but like the rest of the Mandalorians are coming together, as we saw in Mandalorian for season 3. Yeah. So that she'll go there, and there actually will be people there, following the old ways and some of the new ones. But you have your your people coming back together. So she's not totally alone. She's alone as far as her intermediate family, but not like with the Mandalorian family.
Yeah. And I think now with Grogu being there, and he's Jedi, obviously, and then her learning things. So that's gonna be interesting. I think that's gonna be really interesting, actually. With these two, a natural Mandalorian trying to be a fake Jedi and a Jedi trying to be a fake Mandalorian, are now a thing, so you can't tell me those somehow are going to intertwine some way, what I mean? Where
exactly
they're way too similar, of like the same, different side, same coin type of thing. So, doesn't want some random
Mandos.
It's
not just random though, because there are people that she's fought with that she knows.
It's her people.
Bo-Katan is something she actually knows, like,
I mean, like I said, I get it. It's your family. It's it's your name. but she's still a Mandalorian. I think Mandalorians have that pride, and she had it in Rebels. She definitely had it in Rebels. So yeah, the Bo-Katan.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah. So yeah, because I'm episode 6. She just found Thrawn, so I'm muting you guys again for now. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. But cool. There's not really much else we can say for the episode, unless you guys got anything else.
No, I mean, all the stuff that they set up is really cool. So I think they could set up acolytes, right? Because they could talk about how this planet was beforehand, and the older Jedi, how they used to be able to travel. So you could set that up. You could set up, the movie. You could set up Mandalorian season 4. You can set up all that. Is all within this, because Thrawn can hold things together. The fact that they're back on the planet still. There's so many things that they could do and explain, but acolytes can really work more with the baylan storyline, so we'll know what he's looking for, and that can bring that together. So I thought it's really cool, and Filoni knows what he's doing, but Filoni's going to have to prove himself through multiple things to really get hold of all of Star Wars.
Yeah. Anything else, Brandon? Any things that you're excited for coming forward? Whether it be the movie, another Mandalorian season.
I'd always be game for another season of the Mandalorian if they kind of just focused it again on the title character, or really how things progress with this, because I really liked this about as much as I liked the Mandalorian, even though I thought the ending they could have stuck the landing a little more firmly.
Yeah.
I was fine with it overall, and I am curious to see where they go with it next. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
They have my attention.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm super excited about some of the stuff. The Acolyte sounds good. Dave Filoni's movie sounds very, very interesting. So, definitely interested in Star Wars again. Which is something I don't think I would have said.
Yeah, no one's been saying for a while.
Yeah. Interesting. Not in love like how I used to be. I mean, I still love Star Wars, but I'm not getting goosebumps like how when they announced The Force Awakens, it was goosebumps, man. But yeah. Then one last thing with Putin's case, said the Mandos think that she's a traitor, and the Rebels clan was her family, so Ezra was the one that was missing. True, but I believe though in the show Rebels, she kind of got her honor back because the whole Darksaber thing. She gave the Darksaber to Bo, and she didn't keep it for herself, kind of thing. And I think that helped reclaim her family name, because I know that was a big thing in the show at one point.
And yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing for her and her storyline and her character arc. And all of them were all enemies. So it doesn't matter at this point. They're calling all. Remember at the end of the episode, they're calling everyone in.
Yeah,
calling all Mandalorians in.
Yeah. Between the Armorer and Bo-Katan, they're it don't matter if you're Mando, you're Mando. Exactly. we want all you back. So yeah. So and she was a powerful family, until the whole traitor-ish thingy stuff, But also, who was she a traitor to? Was it the Empire, or was it I don't remember. Was it the Empire, or was it the what are they called? The ones that the Armorer group became, more traditional kind of ones. I don't remember. I got to watch Rebels again.
Yeah, the people of the Darth Maul.
The Mandalorians, but before Death Watch.
The Death Watch. Yes, that's it. Death Watch. Yeah.
So I don't remember who that was, but I mean, at this point, like you said, don't matter. Don't hold your breath on the movie. I think it's gonna happen. Did you forget Dave Filoni isn't a nobody anymore? He's the CCO of Lucasfilm. He got that promotion, and people didn't really talk about it. So, he
Chief Creative Officer for all things that are going to happen as far as Star Wars, and I think that
right now
how this is doing.
Yeah.
We know what you need. You need people to follow and want to watch this movie, especially in this show. In the next 3 months, if it gets even more popular, if people watch Disney Plus, or you could put it on TV and people are enjoying it, then yeah, this is going to be his show. I think this could be his opportunity if people really watch this to lead it to the new generation.
Yeah, and the rumors are still KK is out the door. I mean, there's like rumors right now that she's already out the door, which I don't believe, but I think she is out the door. Like, she already said she's not re-signing with Lucasfilm when her contract's over. So, if the acolyte doesn't hit, she's definitely done before the contract. But she made the weapon that. That's right.
Yeah, she did. These are
and it's really the best
right?
wearers. Yeah. But cool. That's our thoughts on the season finale of Ahsoka. Leave a comment, let us know what you think about how it ended. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What kind of questions do you have going forward? Are you excited about either season 2 happening, the Dave Filoni movie that's supposed to be happening, how everything's gonna tie into each other, because it's supposed to be this whole Mandoverse that he's making. So yeah, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. You can be part of the show and let us know what you think live. We're live every Monday and Thursday. But we appreciate everybody. If you're watching live, stick around. We are going to talk about our next topic.